Geese, geese, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful geese. You might ask yourself, why is Darren getting some geese? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm fixing to tell you, Well, I didn't think, I knew I was going to get something going pretty soon. Probably this spring, which is going to happen this spring. Was it going to go for quail? Oh, freezing up here. Okay, froze up there a second. But anyway, I had thought about quail, and I was kind of setting up to do quail, but I wasn't. I was holding back because my wife wasn't on board with quail, and me and my wife we are partners in life, so we have to agree on things. Okay, so in order for me to do the next animal project, my wife has to be on board. That's just the way me and my wife operate. That's why we have a successful marriage. Not a perfect marriage, but a successful one. Excuse me. Just ate an apple. Sometimes apples make me burp. I don't know why. Get older, different things make you burp. So, anyway, that's gross, and I shouldn't even brought that up, I guess. But I did. So there we go. Anyway, we priced a goose last year around Christmas time. We were thinking about having a goose for Christmas. I don't know. Well, it was either that or Easter, some holiday. My wife thought, let's get a goose. And we went to Winn-Dixie. And, yep, they had goose in their freezer. But it was like $80. Like, we're not having goose then. So, now past this Christmas, I went down to Florida to see some relatives of my wife's. Some of my wife's family lives in Florida. Okay, they're not the meth heads that walk around shirtless and get in fights in the middle of the street with their women's. Not those kind of Floridians. But that's the image of Florida I get. Because one time I went down to Florida, and that's what happened. Right in the middle of the street, this couple were fighting. The guy didn't have any shirt on. They're both drunk off their ass, arguing and fighting and screaming at each other in the middle of a two-lane highway or two-lane busy street. Anyway, that's not how Floridians are, but that was funny. Anyway, my wife's sister, who went to culinary school, cooked Christmas dinner, and she was going to cook a goose. So we're driving down there all prepared to have goose. We get down there and she's like, no, we're not having goose. We're having duck and quail because I went and priced goose at the store and there's no way. It was $85 for her. And she's like, I'm not buying no goose for that price. And I don't know if they've had goose. I've grown up, I've had goose a few times at Christmas. My dad, at least 3 times at Christmas, we had geese. I think more than that, but we used to eat geese on Christmas. Sometimes we raised our own geese when I was a little kid, and then as I got older, my dad would buy them at the store, and he would rotisserie them, and they came out really good. Goose is real tasty if it's cooked right, but it's not as popular in the U.S. anymore, and that's why it's so expensive. It used to be popular years ago. But nowadays, people are eating less and less types of meat. But it's mostly pork, chicken, poultry, turkey. That's what Americans eat. And anything beside that's going to cost you a little more. Rabbit used to be popular. You could buy it in any store, not anymore. Duck is getting less and less popular and harder to find unless you have an Asian store in your area. Because Asian people love goose or duck. So, at that, my wife said, if you want to get geese, I'm on board. So I'm like, cool. And I get geese, I'm going to get ducks too. But I'm not getting specific ducks. I'm just going to get whatever Tractor Supply has for ducks. So, we've been doing research, and I didn't do a video while I did research like I did turkeys. I did a video about turkeys and hadn't really got the turkeys yet. We've got the geese. We ordered them. We paid for them. They ain't born yet, so we paid for geese that don't even exist yet. But we're going to get them in March. So I'm preparing my farm for geese, and I'll show that probably in the next video when I do a Mirkwood update. I'm going to show the progress on what I'm doing for geese. So, and I've mentioned it a little bit before. So this video is going to tell you about the different kind of geese that are available, and then at the end I'm going to tell you which kind of geese I got. Now there is a plethora of different kind of geese. Not like chickens where there's 100. There's a lot of different chicken breeds, and there's a lot of chicken breeds available. Some more common than others. But with geese, this is about what they have available that you can raise on your farm, homestead, backyard if you want to. I don't know if you want to raise geese in your backyard, but they are available. Now I'm doing them in alphabetical order, and this is the African goose. Despite its name, the breed does not come from Africa. Probably comes from France, somewhere in Europe. It is a mix of the Chinese goose and the Toulouse goose, which is a French goose. So they're larger than most geese. They are revered for their quality of meat, and they're a nice goose to have. The problem, if you live in colder climates, that knob on the top of their beak can get frostbite easy. So if you do live in northern states where it gets cold below freezing, you need to have a shelter for them on freezing nights and days, I guess, too. This is the American buff. The American buffs were developed in North America and descended from the grayling goose, which is native to Europe and Northern Asia. The history of this colorful bird is obscure. It may have been developed a buff mutation in a gray goose flocks and refined to the buff color stock imported from Europe. It admitted to the American Poultry Standard in 1947. This goose is the largest of the medium breeds. Comes in two colors, kind of a grayish color and this buff color here, which is kind of a cream brown, I would call it. It has deep fallow feathers and a chunky body, and is a very good goose, but is not as common as it once was. This is the Chinese goose. Very similar looking to the African goose, but quite a bit smaller. This is a smaller breed of goose that originated in China, is still very popular in China. It has a problem with the with their knob freezing in the in sub-zero weather. So need to have shelter if you live in northern states. They're sometimes used as an ornamental goose because of their look with their long, extra long necks. They were bred from the wild from the Chinese swan goose. Is where they get this, is a domesticated version of the wild swan goose, and it's a very popular goose variety in the United States. This is the cotton patch goose. Was common in southeastern United States. The cotton patch goose was once used to weed cotton fields. Before pesticides or herbicides, geese were used to weed fields, and still today some used for gardens. This goose is no longer common. It's actually in the livestock conservatory considered endangered. It is not clear of the which geese breeds were bred to come up with this, but it's definitely from European stock brought to the United States during the colonization of the colonies, and they came up with this variety of geese to weed cotton fields. This is a goose that I was very much interested in, but they're expensive. This is the pilgrim geese. which dates back to the colonies of the United States. Most likely developed in the United States from European stock, and then was shipped back. Some were shipped back to Europe and were popularized in Europe as well. These geese are sexually dimorphic, which means you auto-sex them because the males are white and the females are either gray or buff in color, which makes it very easy to tell which ones are the males and which ones are the females on this breed. So if you need a breed for that purpose and easier to sex them just by looking at them, this would be the kind for you to get. This breed possibly could have been developed from the same stock that developed the cotton patch geese, but definitely different characteristics. This is the Pomeranian goose. It was developed in northern Germany by farmers in the 1500s from European grayling goose. This breed is a nice breed to have on your homestead or your farm. It was one that I'd considered. This variety is called the saddleback. There's also a solid colored variety as well. So they come in two different varieties of the Pomeranian geese. They're known to be good mothers, and they are a good geese if you can find them. They're named for the Pomeranian area of Germany, I believe. So they come in buff, gray, and the saddleback in buff and gray. This is the Roman goose. Comes in two varieties, the Roman goose or the Roman tufted. The breed originated in Italy more than 2,000 years ago. Is considered sacred to Juno, the goddess of marriage. The Gauls attempted to invade Rome undercover at night, and these geese were used to alert the soldiers of the Gauls' approach. They're more than likely good guard geese. They will alert you if anything approaches your property. So they're kind of a smaller goose, but have a wonderful history. Probably one of the oldest goose, maybe not quite as old as the Chinese goose, but they're one of the oldest domestic breeds of geese you could find. This is the Roman goose. This here is the Toulouse goose. There is the Toulouse goose and then the dewlap Toulouse goose. The dewlap has a dewlap under their chin. At least the males have that. These geese come in gray. I don't think they come in any other color. They originated in and around the city of Toulouse in France. Were first shown in the United States in Albany, New York in 1856. The gray Toulouse was recognized in 1874. The buff variety was admitted in 1977. The dewlap goose, or dewlap Toulouse, and the regular Toulouse are the largest of the geese breed body-wise. So if you want a big goose for your table, this is the kind of goose to get. This is an Emden goose. It is a large variety. Emden is the oldest goose breed in the area of Germany. The origins go back to the 13th century. They derive from a traditionally large white goose of the Eastern Fischara region of northwestern Germany. I probably butchered that word, but anyway. These geese have a long curved neck. They're the most popular goose breed for production for meat. They're usually, if you buy goose at the store, you're probably buying this type of goose. Now, the reason why this one is not in outbook order as the other ones were is because this is the goose breed that me and my wife settled on, and we ordered some, so we have some of these coming. They're known for their distinctive blue eyes and their snowy white feathers. A very beautiful goose, uh, a very hardy goose, and has a mild temperament, and they're good foragers. That was the reason we picked them, because we needed a goose that could forage. Geese can actually do a lot more than just provide meat. And that's why we went to with the Embrnden. I always have a hard time pronouncing it because it isn't like an English word. Uh, Embden. There's, there should be some, but anyway, it's a nice goose. We got those. It was the one my wife wanted. I there was a couple different geese. I wanted those saddleback um, Pomeranians, or a couple different geese that I wanted. I didn't really care. I just figured whichever geese we could find would be good, as long as it was a meat producing geese. Uh, Even the Chinese, me and my wife didn't really want the Africans. People have told us that the Africans can be mean. I think we had a couple when I was on a farm that were mean, but from what I've read, they're not necessarily mean. Most breeds can have mean or docile geese within them. The Toulouse are pretty much all docile, but with most breeds, you can get mean ones. Those are the ones you butcher, and you keep the nice ones. So hopefully you breed that into the next generation. We plan to have a sustainable flock of these. So that's why we got 6. We ordered them sexed, so we had to pay a little more. We ordered 3 females and 3 males. We'll keep the best male and butcher the other 2 males, and then we'll have our sustainable flock and reproduce, keep a male every few generations, just to keep the flock going. That's our plan going into the future. We still have a lot to learn about geese, but some we'll learn as we go along. Some I'm still doing research, and I'm building a goose pen, as I said before. Another reason for geese is their lawnmowers. They won't eat the grass down to the nub. They will eat grass, and they will forage on grass if you get one that's a good forager. And this breed happens to be one of the ones that's a good forager. So that was one of the boxes we had to check. I mean, I could have got Toulouse geese because there's some only 3 hours away from me, a guy that raises them. But we went to mail order because my wife wanted this breed. She's like, I want that, because I know that Rural Kings sells geese. Most of the time it's Chinese or African that they sell, but they may sell these too. I don't know. They had some Chinese geese there a couple weeks ago, but so that's where we're at. We've ordered geese. We're already in the geese raising market, I guess. I don't know. I'm working on also getting my license so I can sell meat, and maybe in the future I could sell goose meat because it fares a good price. Turkey, and we have heritage turkey. This is a heritage goose, and it's an old breed, and it's the popular meat production breed. So we know we're going to get a good goose for the table. As big as they are, probably have goose for a couple days, just like eating a turkey. So, and we're also going to get a couple ducks. I don't know how many, but when Tractor Supply starts selling their poultry, we're going to go down and buy some ducks. Hopefully not white. I don't know if I want all white ducks and all white geese, but if that's what we get, that's what we get. I'm not really going to do a bunch of research on duck breeds. I know there's a lot of them out there. I just want one that's a good meat production and good egg production, or moderate egg production, because I don't eat duck eggs. I do use duck eggs for cooking. They're better for making cakes and stuff like that. Recipes that call for ducks. So that's my video on geese. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. And if you're interested in geese, don't just go by my research, because I only gave you vague things. There are plenty of videos out there on YouTube on each breed of geese. There's plenty of information on the internet about geese. So do your research, whatever kind of livestock you want to raise. And you guys have a good day and a better tomorrow.